Today I will discuss about suspension system. In this, what do you mean by suspension system? What are the main objective of the suspension system? And what are the types of suspension spring? There are three main types of suspension springs: steel spring, rubber spring, and air spring. In the steel spring, leaf spring, tapered leaf spring, coil spring, torsion bar. And in the rubber spring, compression shear spring, steel reinforced spring, progressive spring, phase shear spring. And last one is air springs. In air springs, two types: blow type spring, piston type spring. And in this I will explain how the torsion bar spring will work. So I will start with the suspension system. What do you mean by suspension system, or how this is useful for the riders as well as for the occupants? So if the vehicle is moving in a rough roads, so to negotiate the vehicle in the rough roads and to handle well at a high speeds, so vehicle moving in rough roads to negotiate the vehicle, and also the vehicle will moving in the higher speed to handle that at the higher speed for the driver is mainly due to proper design of suspension system. So what are the main objective of the suspension system? So already we discussed it. If the vehicle is moving in a rough road, so that road shocks are being transferred to the vehicle components, and so that will affecting for the to ride the vehicle. So for that reason, to provide suitable riding and cushioning effect to the occupants as well as for the riders, so the suspension system will play a very important role. And second one is to reduce the wear on the tire. And third one is, so during that moving of the vehicle, so to keep the vehicle stable while in a motion. And fourth one is, so that suspension system provides safe vehicle control and free of irritating vibration to the rider as well as to the occupants. So these are the main objectives of the suspension system. Types of the suspension springs, already I explained it. There are three types: steel springs, rubber springs, and air suspension springs. So you can see it in the steel springs. There are four types are there: a leaf spring, tapered leaf spring, coil spring, torsion bar. In the rubber springs, compression spring, compression shear spring, steel reinforced spring, progressive spring, and phase shear spring. Air springs, two types: below type and piston types. Next I will explain the torsion bar. So in the torsion bar, I will explain how that is the torsion bar is working. So this is the torsion bar. The one end of the torsion bar is fixed to the frame. Means one end of the torsion bar is fixed to the frame, and other end of the torsion bar is fixed to the wheel arm. So this wheel arm is supported in a bearing. So this wheel arm is supported in a bearing. The wheel arm is connected to the wheel hub spindle. So it is connected to the wheel hub spindle. When the wheel hits a bump, so it starts vibrating up and down. It starts vibrating up and down. This produces torque on a torsion bar. So this torsion bar acts as a spring. So how this torsion bar is working? Thank you.